you.
Yeah, I built that in my other one.
I was gonna say, you should give him the credit for it.
They're all nuts around here, Doc. For wild and crazy guys. If you're not, you know what? You're not gonna plan. And he did. I do the movie on Third Movie Class right now. It was the 31 full skipping khaki. And Robert Coogan. I know you are. I know you are. Take care of him.
Okay, boss, what do you think? 4 o'clock.
I'm gonna have a few words to welcome the folks.
Okay. Then you can start open with that. Right.
Start this one, cut 9.
Yep.
So Donnie, I'll either see you maybe Tuesday or Saturday. And I'll bring that over there with me. See you about it. Okay, I'm looking. Yeah, you said they would give it to me, but I'm gonna ask them to do it. Okay. Oh, I see. I didn't know that. People are.
What's the name?
Ladies and gentlemen, Don Fisher here. I'm president of Railroad Museum of Long Island, and I want to welcome you here this afternoon for one of our Concert in the Boxcar series. And it's going to be a little bit different. Usually we have music only, but I'm very excited and very honored to have this gentleman with us here. I first met Vinny back in the 1970s. At my other job, I used to go around and do the technical directing for the Greenport High School, and I worked as the audiovisual director at Southold High School. And Vinny was on the stage crew at Greenport when I was the technical director. So we met each other there and worked a little theater in high school. And we've known each other, but he went away from Greenport. I stayed here on the North Fork. And it wasn't until my daughter went to SUNY Fredonia that we reconnected. Now, I knew his dad for some time here through the village and through the historical societies. But I was so happy to get caught back up in 2011, 2012 with Vinny, because I hadn't seen him in a long time. And believe it or not, he was a teacher up at Bosse's in that Dunkirk, Fredonia area. And he was a professor at Jamestown Community College. And I'm like, where did the time go? What have you been doing, man? He's a professor at Fredonia. My daughter's going there. And it's like, all of a sudden it all comes around. And here we are. And I'm so happy to be able to have him come here, because as he was traveling around in a time when we didn't see each other, he collected up a lot of good stories and he made a lot of good poetry. And he is an outstanding performer, outstanding poet, a good friend. I want to welcome to our little stage here at the Boxcar, Vincent Quatroche Jr. Don't go away. This is the beginning of the program. And you folks want to get chairs? We got chairs down here. Come on in. And there will be a short intermission between part 1 and part 2. The museum's going to be open, so if you haven't been inside, it's free to go in and see the museum, and the bathrooms are inside. So we actually have
December
begun.
was as sad as what was left of Utica. Around the train station platforms, all the ghosts that never got the good jobs at GE, now portering the limbo paper luggage all about the shattered pillars. So when he showed up and identified himself as a recorder, third class, representing the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Red Meat, all the apparitions scrambled for his luggage and called him sir. The fullness and bounty and the quality of life he was leading was so apparent. What a knee slapper. He dreamed of calibrating all the volume control presets on all the Amtrak coach intercoms, so he could purr out the stops all along the Hudson, speakers suggesting each station was where each passenger had always dreamed of getting off at one day. It would be like screwing you through Schenectady. Or maybe just saying it like. Slowly as the rooms slide by, you'd be just mounting the thigh. Sliding the rooms slowly by. The least you could have admitted to me once is it might have been worth giving it a try. So slide those rooms so slowly by, screwing me through Schenectady.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for coming out on this beautiful day and allows the traffic on the North Fork. Actually, if I probably wouldn't come. I'd be down in the Sound right now, 67 steps, but I had to be here. First, I want to thank the Long Island Railroad Historical Society, and most especially Don Fisher and Don Quigley for the work they've done on my father's behalf and his work. There are some books that they produced about my father's sketches of the train stations here on the North Fork as they were years ago. Beautiful, beautiful piece of work. Okay, start off. This one happened right out here in this yard, roughly 1955. On the waterfront, a basin shaped 1,000 years ago, basically unchanged in the recent 100, and flat-bottom ferries crisscross the sheltered harbor inlet. An ancient train station, brick, now with a nautical museum in rebirth, closed on Wednesday silent. I'm waiting for the 1150 jitney and the electric whir and whine of the diesel engine idling minutes away from departure on the very same track bed that every train that ever ran this line stood once. Looking across the bulkheads, the bunker boats moored midday at empty docks seems surreal in this expensive, vacant theme park future we've escaped to. It's Green Hampton now, I suppose. So the terrible now, I remember 50 years ago, maybe even 60, maybe even 65, almost exactly in the same spot, just across the tracks, in the same June sunshine, only hotter, much, much hotter. And I'm being held in my papa's arms. Powerful brown vitality passes me up to the cab of a heaving, hissing, smoke-billowing, immense, magnificent steam engine, the last one to ever come to Greenport. I'm so goddamn small and sweaty, and everything is so loud and hot, and I can still see and hear and smell and taste and feel this sharp, short memory affixed and mirrored inside my head. The heat, the noise, the dirt, the madness of that locomotive, incinerating coal and making everything around it 50 degrees hotter, including my little ass, which is gracefully passed back down by the engineer into Papa's arms. And I think I started to cry. And he has the broadest of wide and proud grins and says, "So, little Jimmy, how'd you like the choo-choo?" Okay, anyone here remember Stan Mack? In the old Village Voice, he used to write something called Real Life Funnies. I've traveled the train all my life, and this is just some of the things that I've overheard. And all this is pretty much verbatim. This is called Stan Mack's Real Life Pro. Okay, there's some middle-aged yenta that's been beating her gums and her yap nonstop since we left Utica about 100 miles ago on the train this morning in the cafe car, holding court at the next table over with this mind-numbing stream of semi-consciousness, rather cryptic babble about how the twins in rehab and how her liver makes her sad, but seems to be in remission now, and I'm about to drown myself in my Amtrak coffee. And then all of a sudden she has this moment of linear clarity and relates to the high-impact vignette, how she is so goddamn pissed at a couple of her nieces, the twins, and their boyfriends, no relation, who only visit when they're loaded and want a place to drink some more at her place for hours on end and won't take hints when it's time to leave. So she bolts to the kitchen in exasperation, grabs the toaster off the counter, drives him out of the house by swinging the frigging thing over her head by the power cord, letting it go out the door, chasing it like a hammer and track and field event as they flee their cars in terror, and the toast projectile smashes into a million pieces up against the mailbox, and some fragments even make it to the power line, become entangled, and the toaster hangs down, swinging. She falls silent briefly and then exhales, saying in conclusion the next day she got a call from all her relatives telling her how everybody was so proud of her. Okay. This is another vision of what you can see. Prose painting. It's called Falling in Love Again. A couple just came in the lounge car this morning on the train just outside of Amsterdam. He's somewhere in his mid-60s, dressed in a wrinkled white dress shirt with sleeves rolled up at the elbows. He has on a red and blue, loosely hanging comfortably at the open collar tie. He's Walter Matthau handsome, with a white soft thatch of uncombed hair, bushy eyebrows, and yes, goddammit, his eyes do kind of twinkle with good humor and general amusement. He appears like a lovable, friendly, easygoing, freshly slept-in 11-year-old boy. His companion is a trim chestnut brunette in an oyster-tinted billowing satin blouse and a tight black miniskirt, sheer dark tinted nylons, tiny glossy gold polished patent leather anklet boots with 3-inch stiletto heels. She's one of those lucky women, very lucky, who always manage to look good, while looking every year of her age, concealing nothing but unmistakably echoing the beauty of the prime in her youth. One glance at her and you could clearly see the knockout she had been all her life. And the thing is, she still was. She stands there next to him with a wide smile and a mischievous eyes brimming with sensuality, curiosity, and co-conspiracy. He sits down at the table next to me, and she goes to get something to eat, returns in a few minutes with 2 cheeseburgers, a bottle of wine. The fact that it's barely 10 in the morning doesn't seem to have any relevance. And they sit eating and laughing and talking. They're perfect. Turns out he's a sculptor, she's a writer, they're on holiday from somewhere in Canada, and within 20 minutes they seem to know everybody in the coach, conductors included, telling jokes, gossiping. It's just one big goddamn party. And then this other woman comes in the car and sits down. She has gray hair pulled up in a bun, wire-rimmed glasses, baggy sweater, droopy brown stockings, and she whines about getting old, her various complaints and regrets, and age-related infirmities. The 2 people listen politely, nod sympathetically, try to be kind and emphasize. Finally, the visitor at the table wraps up her tale of woe and heads back to her seat. And I overhear the woman tell her companion, "Can you believe that? Her age? I mean, she's younger than me, and has you beat by a couple of years. Yeah, it goes. It's so sad how people get old. Here's another one, vignette. Death of the 60s and the Hang 'em High Judge. This morning on the train near Schenectady, there's this trio of old, and man, I mean old former flower children. Either that or the predatory wolves in hipster garb who used to eat flower children. These old battered birds look like they took an acid bath about 50 years ago and long since fricasseed their asses to a crisp. Or maybe they've been doing the Rip Van Winkle routine in some basement full of mothballs or crates of dry ice in a hippie museum somewhere. They still have on their wrinkled, dirty, tie-dye shirts, threadbare headbands, grubby, ragged bell-bottoms, blue jeans, scraggy, greasy, graying, matted long hair, scruffy beards that appear to be trimmed by a drunken barber. Oh, did I forget the love beads? Oh yeah, they still stink of sandalwood incense. And of course, you know, funny, they don't look in the least wise, beatific, or colorful. Actually, they look tired, worn, ugly, and used up. And I might add, mighty unfriendly, menacing, and pissed off. They glare at people around the coach or stare into space blankly. Grateful Dead? I suppose. But grateful? Nah. Dead? That's more like it. Meanwhile, the gentleman sitting next to me appears to be roughly the same age and generation. He's a mountain of a man, with stately white hair, impeccably groomed beard, conservative gray suit, and dark topcoat. He has gold wire-rimmed glasses and pink, robust skin endows him with the vitality of a powerful boar, with sharp blue piercing eyes for gleaming tusks. And he's watching the trio of leftovers in front of the coach, just like me. And back in the day, I would wager this guy didn't hang, swing, trip, or dance. And I'm wondering if he still remembers just how uncool this crowd used to make him feel. And I get my answer pretty quick when he opens an expensive-looking burgundy leather briefcase on his lap, cracking open the golden latches with a loud, sure, crisp snap, and takes out a legal brief that I look at, and it's called Freeing the Judges. I rest my case. Okay. Trio striking attitudes in Rome. Overheard on train 284 from Buffalo to Penn Station. She just kept trying to remember the name of that darling little French-Japanese place in the West Village where her and Sheldon ate once on a rainy Friday fall night, but she went on to describe in graphic detail everything they'd eaten while mispronouncing the dishes. Her seatmate is a bounty hunter dog wannabe, an orange-yellow flicking lame stocking cap, plastic wraparound sunglasses, poor oral hygiene on the third day of a week-long amphetamine binge, bragging to everybody in earshot just what he told that big shot Billy Joel. The third guy is an empty suit nothing, making with the endless snide prattle of pointless power, business-related ego vignettes designed to impress in conservative talk show radio commentator tone of voice NPR. At the phoning intern across the table, the young thing is responding to him like ooh and ah, like Susie Wadman makes blowing John Sterling in a broadcast booth between the Yankee games innings. Okay, all right, here we go. We've got an audience participation poem. Shout them out. Cubop City too. I know I'm going to miss somebody, but this is called Lost Nicknames, and it's a local poem. Tim E. Clark, Ed Wick Pulse, Sylvan Lucky Ward, Ken Hawkeye Lowe, Tom Stump Rosie Junebug Yates, Robert Big Daddy Johnson, Chris Scurvy Dog Johnson, David Gumbo Verity, Alan Hawk Edwards, David Diamond Dave Brandy, David Asa Gardner, Joe the Colonel Crenshaw, Paul the Bounder Gabbard, Reed, Monk, M4, Chip, Mahaffey, Vincent, Benny, Jim, Lebo, Bass, Quatroche, Kim, Clock, Norquin, Tom, Birdman, Birdie, Bob, Cowboy Cocas, Kevin, Dr. Evil Heaney, Johnny Digman Corman, and of course, Johnny Chi Squared Cheech Chai Chai, and Robert Giannini Onstead, Jim Finfino, Jim Tuttle, Mark Eckhart, Mark Bamback, Robert Boboon Rostek, and David Bones Puritan. But these ones are really lost. See if you can pick these out. Sweet William, Little Jack, Barbecue, Pork Chop, Short Dog, Chicken Head, Snuffy, Chubby, Gilligan, Muff, and of course, Zeke and Rod. I was surprised. I thought you guys might join in. You notice there were no females on that? I'd be afraid to. We didn't know any girls anyway back then. It's kind of an all-male featurette. Okay, I got one for you here. Did you know that today is the 18th Sunday of Ordinary Time at the church? It is the configuration, exactly. Okay. This actually happened, believe it or not, and it's one of my favorite memories. I used to go to church, my mom actually went to church this morning. I figured I'd better. I hadn't been there in a while. But anyway, this is called the 18th Sunday of Ordinary Time. After going to St. Agnes for early morning mass that Sunday with Edna, we stopped at the IGA, and I happened to run across, by chance, one of my poems in the frozen food aisle. It was about 70 years old now, and had on a pink pinstripe shirt with button-down collars, gold wire-rimmed glasses, sporting a dignified forehead of neatly cropped snow-white hair, and when it spotted me, out of the blue years, exclaimed in pure wonderment as I crossed his path near the potato chips, "My God, you're still alive?" The nature of the observation was delivered in anything far from a congratulatory intonation or tone. Stunned, I merely shrugged and went out to the car to put away the groceries in the back seat and tone, and then I thought about it for a minute and I said, "Hey Mom, I forgot something inside the store and would be right back." Marched right back in that goddamn IGA, quickly scanning all the aisles for that son of a bitch. Spotted him in the canned vegetables next to the succotash. Ran the poem down. He saw me coming. He wasn't too happy about it. I confronted him and introduced myself, forced it to shake my hand, and asked just what the hell was the meaning of that previous remark. At this point he got real sheepish, lowered eyes, mumbled something about Lucky Ward, and hastily shoved off to the meat counter. And I couldn't resist it. I yelled after him, "Yeah, well, you were a lousy poem anyway." Okay, I only got a couple more, and then we're going to take an intermission, and then we have some recorded works. They're good. You better enjoy them. But we will be out of here by 5 o'clock because it's Miller time. And we must keep to proprieties as far as it goes. Anyway, these last two are very, very sentimental pieces. My grandmother, Nana Turner, ran a boarding house right down here on 3rd Street, and it was my favorite place to go as a kid and favorite place to go as a young man. And this is for her. Nana's house. I want to take the train back to Nana's house and get off at the yards and walk down that block, and Frost might lick the window pane off marching doors, banking on April like it was an offshore account. And when I hear the sound of the coach in the middle of the night, I toss and turn, thinking if only the freight train stopped here in the middle of town. All now so run down. I would walk the blocks at night, they would be in the city, and she wakes up already with 3 loads of laundry and feed 15 people in the house before breakfast, and if you get there early enough, you could have some, and when you walk in the door, she'll be glad to see you, either as a boy or at that point a useless man, and with a big smile wanting to know what you've been up to. And you better have a story, a true one that makes her laugh, because there's nothing to compare with the sound of your Nana laughing. I want to go back to Nana's house, where she says, "Hey Jimmy, Where the hell have you been? Thank you. One last one before break. This is another very sentimental one. Of course, you know, for years my father was the manager of that, well, what's left of it, the Deco Desperado movie theater. And I literally grew up in the theater. Spartacus was my babysitter. I think this crowd might get that. I just say it to my students, they're like, what? Windy old weirdo. Okay, so, this one, about City. I don't know about you. I don't care how many times I see it. Cinema Paradiso, particularly the Italian version, just knocks me through. I don't care how many times I see it, and I like the director's cut, the long one, not the short one. It's got to have Italian. But anyway, Cinema Paradiso. I was raised the son of an artist movie manager in a Deco Desperado built in 1939, just after the hurricane of '38 leveled the former theater. The role of my father was played by David Niven, by way of Robert Young. My mom was Ginger Rogers of Kitty Foyle Blonde, and she sold the tickets. The projectionist was named Jimmy D, as played by William Bendix, smoked Grand Habano guitars, read dirty magazines, and loved to fart and laugh. The porter was named Harold, a reclusive Boo Radley, anti-social savant who lurked in the shadows cleaning the theater at 3 a.m. In my childhood, I was on the Forbidden Planet. I rode the time machine with the Morlocks and the Id Monster. I cried when they sank the Bismarck. The life lessons of Gorgo and his mom stuck with me for years. And yes, Spartacus was my babysitter. Later, I worked there as an usher, playing myself, and as a relief manager later. The role of my love interest was played by all the women whose tickets I tore and forgot their name, but I still remember my time in Cinema Paradiso. Intermission. Thank you.
Please feel free to go in and take a look at the museum. It'll be about 10 minutes, and then we'll be back for the second half of our program.
Tuesday or like Saturday. Like, you know,
I usually prepare myself for that, but there's always something that goes wrong. It's okay.
Doors down here. Yeah. And go in and take a look around, please.
Nice to see you.
Likewise.
It's my son and daughter.
Oh my gosh, how nice.
oh, it's just working, dog.
Hey.
Well, about 4:45. I'm gonna get it. Yeah, but I'm gonna go there. I want to make sure I'm there. I don't want to miss it. I have a couple of times. Yes. Yes, I did.
I got unfair.
He was charging me on one way, so the other way. He was so $1 one way. It's like, hey, they went up and paid about it. Like if I go to the city, it was $9 and change. You know, on my social security fare, it'll be $10.25.
How much is your round trip today?
I didn't have to pay yet.
Oh, they brought you out for that.
And then they'll charge me, and then we'll see if they do. It's like 35 cents each way. Can't beat that. Even $1.50 each way, you still can't beat that. No, they see me. Maybe they see right here. Yeah. Look, similar. Not a gray hair done. What happened to all your hair?
If I let it grow, it's come out the sides. Just like, kind of like yours, grab it back. shape. It feels good.
Who was at the museum today?
Stephen, Quatroche. There was a good crew there this morning. Greg and Frank were running the trains on my walk. Neil's not here today. We had a PRFHS meeting. Place today. Bunch of them.
You know what? I mean, you know.
I went in this morning to get them chairs. We used them. And
Where'd you get them from?
they were under the tent. They used them yesterday for the barbecue.
Barbecue where?
Then they were like.
I didn't know we had a barbecue yesterday. I was running around with this.
The Long Island Dark Railway System. Summer family park.
How much was it?
I don't know if you can charge rate.
You know, almost every freaking day was there. Yesterday, the baby burned up the fever. You know, I'm getting to the point that it's, you know,
No, it's a sad state.
it is. But in the meantime, I can't, you know, I don't know what I want to do. I mean, I don't mind being nice, but, you know, I'm going to tell you something. You know, I can't keep running her around. I'm getting to the point. I think her mother wants her to do this, so if he takes a taxi, it'll be taking her longer. That's not my problem. Her mother will get someone else. And I don't want to hear it. Her mother's too much. But I don't want this. I'm ready to just wash my hands of it.
Does she have money to,
She doesn't. She can go on. She has to get the fire rules and do it. That's what she said. She better. Or I'm gonna tell her to bother me. Stop bothering me. Go do what you gotta do. I don't want to hear you. Do what you gotta do. You know something? I can't. Don't accept it. It's not in me.
I'm good. We went to the other place. I never read the right thing.
what other place?
I went to Riverside.
I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry.
Oh, we got a little intermission. We're gonna come back in about 5 minutes. Go ahead inside and see this place.
Yeah, that's what I gotta do. I was never here.
There you go.
Okay, thanks.
Well, how far do you live? How far west do you live?
Great River.
Great River, Iceland.
Oh,
I got my boat out here in Greenport
so it's
anyway.
not too terrible.
No, it was fine. Nothing is too terrible.
Yeah, so I'm reading the news today about why we should get used to it, and we should accept it. Ones, you know, in the state, in this crappy policy, we should accept it. Let me tell you something. I don't know something.
What do you think, Don?
The train's gonna go out. I got about 45. We're ready to go.
Yeah.
So just, you know, you make, you pull down until we're on.
Donnie, I'll see you later. Don,
Farrell's gonna be on. He's gotta get back to the car.
I have to go, so
Are you ready? I'm queued up, ready to go.
Communications Department. State University College. 35 miles southwest of Boston. 60 years.
Yeah, that's why you're And what was your father? What did your father have to do with the Long Island Railroad?
Big rail.
We were talking about Ron Zeal.
And he's good friends with Johnson.
Ron Zeal did something. The old, from Black River.
Yeah.
The half bomb, off the platform, they brought out here from Black River.
Really?
And they brought it to Montauk on a Sunday.
Alright.
And you know what happened? We turned around and he kept saying to the people, he put more coal in there, coal into the chamber, and almost blew the engine up. They never did it again. He was the cause of it. He's not good. Ron Zeal is not the best in the world.
Lots of cleaners.
He was not too good. Ron Zeal just got too thick.
No, my daughter's
Don, I'll talk to you later.
Son and daughter came.
Vincent, it was nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you, sir.
Bye-bye, Don. Don, I'll see
Have a
you.
safe trip back to Riverhead.
And I'll talk to you maybe Tuesday or by Saturday.
Okay.
Alright, let's get this show on the road. Oh, I feel it. And I've got pieces for you. Alright?
Okay, when you're ready.
All right, remember, a little bit hotter on the first two, which are sound beds, and then you adjust the sound
As we go into the music.
as it sounds.
You got it.
You're gonna get up and read me?
Yep. This time we're using.
Don't do it immediately.
It's time.
Sit up here. Harold left. How you doing, brother? Good to see you. Good to see you.
All right.
Here we go.
Gerald's looking for the place to. I was gonna go to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It looked so cool. He was writing there, and the guy with the guitar, he was like, that's cool. It's funny.
You got Kenny Love. Posterity.
That's good.
This chap.
All right, boss. Flattened. I was stretched out prone on the canvas mat. Seems like every morning I start out like this. Shoulders pinned to sweat, sticky oilskin. Not out cold, not yet. Staring straight up at the arena lights. Thinking this is stupid. Useless, ridiculous. It's not like I'm getting the crap kicked out of me here, but more like the run-of-mill, day-to-day TKO. Flattened by indifference. Some care, nobody really cares. It's small potatoes, but they're my potatoes. Not even a good solid left hook or a lousy review in a local rag. The poems, the stories, the projects. And now a CD response, retrospective of what didn't fly in the first place? Not a chance. Or one good reason to keep it up, to keep fighting. Why bother? And then, one drop of something falling from the endless darkness overhead hit my face right around the lips. Somebody spit something down from the upper deck? Leaky pipe in the rafters? Or was it something else? What did it taste like? And I gave it the once over with my tongue. Bitter, sweet, failure, the past? And in my ears I could hear the roaring of the crowd, giving the very best they could, laced with catcalls and cheers. And I turned over on my stomach, spit some teeth and a little blood, and propped one shaky knee on the clammy, stinking canvas while draping my arm over the ring's rope, and I pulled up and swore, "Give me back my stupid hat. Put it on my head. Get that notebook over there. Where in hell is my pen?" And I'm wobbling, but I'm getting. I am getting back up. Okay. Takes a minute to switch this. Pushing to create or capture something is as follows. You're going to struggle with all the fragments. A bunch of frantically assembled lines recorded as a result of daily confusion, perpetual doubt, dubious intent. All the failed projects, the nurtured stillborn casualties of the inevitable indifference of ill-conceived visions, abandoned like stray cats, where your best intentions end up in a bin somewhere, discernible with just the rest of the useless crap. Let me tell you something. You're going to have to fight for every inch of anything worth being put down on the page. And too much of it will be a useless transcript cryptic, subjective confusion. And nobody anywhere is lining up to buy your best line, trying to describe what your limited talents endeavor to force prose fragments together into order, beauty, and lucidity. But in that one moment, you happen to blindly stumble across one rare aspect of your efforts, either by accident or design, that works somehow in a wondrous sequence, manages to escape your miraculous stranglehold of incompetence. You will marvel and derive just enough of the slimmest satisfaction from that minute glimmer of shimmering cess to keep you pouring through the image garbage heap for the rest of your life, believing you could repeat that sensation. Shut up, Monk. What an attention span. Okay, I had a career in sanitation here on the North Fork at one time. And this is a vignette. The end of the shift. It's called the art truck. Now, the last time I looked out that window, it was full of a great, big, blue, filthy garbage truck. And it's raining pretty steady gray, and the worn steel hull looks battered and tired, but hungry. Let's not forget hungry. And bucket after bucket of slop, waste, and leftovers gets dumped into that yawning big blue mouth, which has this huge black blade tongue to swallow it all in one big gulp. You know, it's been 40 years since I worked on that truck with Roy, much like that summer that ate fall like a beach packer did in the back of the seashell, where upon flipping the container lid, the maggots flew like popcorn. Later, near the end of my shift, I kissed a high school girl, standing on a dumpster that we had just finished emptying in South Old High School out of the yard room. And as she was yelled to get the hell back in the room out on Oakland Avenue, I went, God, I wish I had a picture of that. These next two are very important to me. I hope I can do them justice. My son and daughter are here, and I didn't know. It was a complete surprise. And I'm glad you're all here. This is completely out of the blue. So let me assure you, I'm going to break your heart here. I'm going to break my heart here. First one. It's called Train of Thought, Time. Late September gray mist shrouds us rolling along the banks of a Friday afternoon Hudson. 3 coaches back, my son is riding on this train right now. He's just an innocent little boy with light brown feathered hair, playing in his seat, content with wooden blocks and little metal cars. I think he likes the train, but then he never complains. I'm sitting in an empty lounge car, not in service on this line, Passengers come in here looking for something and leave with disappointed faces. And in the background, the conductors speak of lost things. While grading students' papers, I pause to stare out the window of the familiar scene I know so well, at the passage of motion and time, and wonder how late this train will make Penn Station. Will we make up time? Or will we lose time? And all of a sudden I remember my son is back there in the train. So I get up and I collect myself and walk 3 coaches back to the front and discover my son there asleep, now a full-grown man. Okay. Anytime, Don. Forever and a day for Bonnie Iris. It was after that night I sat on the edge of the bed in the shadowy, soft bedroom, illuminated in a black and white glow, watching the last scene from Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, where Spencer Tracy gives that speech about being burnt out, used up, and how his rage and love and the fire that still burns at her life in Katharine Hepburn. She's in tears. I'm drinking a beer in tears. And 17 days after completing that scene, Spencer Tracy was dead. I turned off the smoky gray light and lay down to sleep. And as I was drifting off, I thought about the morning and watching Kate and Spencer when they were 40 years younger in a newspaper game as I painted the hallway. They certainly had aged a lifetime in one day. Around 4:30 in the morning, I was awakened from a thin veil by the sound of a pre-dawn summer downpour. And I got up sleepwalking to check the windows and shadows, with the curtains billowing all about the hallway. I ended up in my daughter's room, and as I bent over to close the windowsill, I heard a small voice from the swirling darkness say, "Hey Dad, what's infinity?" I straightened up, and as my eyes adjusted from the dream-driven landscape, I regarded my 6-year-old peering up at me, all owl eyes, large as freshly minted silver dollars. Infinity is all the numbers you ever count, frontward or backwards. It's the time between your birthday and Christmas. It's the last day of school before summer vacation. Infinity is forever Sunday, like we had together yesterday. You played in your turtle sandbox while I painted the garage wall white, and a cascading sunshine between us was a contented, silent bond that bloomed like your marigolds under a magnificent, impossible blue umbrella sky. I sat down on the edge of the bed and pulled up the sheet around her fragile shoulders and stroked her hair. And still the curtains danced in rhyme to a rain's rhythm, and our eyes adjusted, locked in an inky blue film. And I whispered, "Infinity was born with you that midnight, as I was the first person to ever touch you to start your time on earth. As I held your emerging crown of your head, holding forever and a day in my hands. Infinity was waiting for you to arrive at the stroke of midnight, to decide to breathe, because your still little blue body had not yet moved. And then infinity kissed your cheek. And I still remember those terrified, shivering blue eyes, brimming with light and awareness from the hospital incubator. And a sleepy voice asked, "What's an incubator?" And I started to reply, but you had drifted off. Back to sleep. Back to infinity. Back to wherever, forever, and a day goes. Okay, just a couple more. They're short ones, two. And then, I don't know about you, man, but I'm awful thirsty. I probably shouldn't make references to that, but I don't care. I am? Okay, this is called My Kind of Morning After. You know what? It was better when it was here, because it's too boomy in here, and I was noticing a difference. All right, anytime. There isn't any true in me. I just thought I was a matinee idol on an August afternoon where it's hot outside. But over there in the cool, dark shadows of the Loge, I could be a Technicolor lush. I'm beloved. Boy, somebody's got an accident. I disappoint. I endure. I'm full of crap. I'm full of jewels. I abandon my audience because they like to watch. Safe distance in their seats. But why isn't my ass planted up here, doing all these roles that somehow wanted? But I'm just a walk-on here, not the leading man, merely a character actor, made of dreams and sand, like the rising smoke curls in the projector's white beam up in the Loge. So roll the credits, look briefly for the momentary flash of my name, my role, my brief hour on your stage. There isn't any true in me. I just think I'm some kind of matinee idol. Hey, we skipped one, Don. Yeah? Alright. Oh, we'll end with this one. This one's a favorite of mine. It's just too much fun. And she could heave under the cortisone as if her thighs were driven by a metronome. Well before the morning fog, fresh in from Bellingham Bay, consented to be burned off and give way to a harbor montage set in wet varnish. And as the dawn leaks out from under the island's swollen, black-eyed lumps, puffed up on the horizon, sullen over coffee at breakfast, he looked at her and said, "Just what do you look for in your man anyway?" And she said without batting an eyelash, "Defects." Well, it was that kind of morning after. But I skinned my knuckles out on the driveway late last night. And now my socks are halfway down in my boots. But fly that flag at half-mast, because I'm thinking about you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming. Appreciate it. And again, thank you to the Long Island Railroad Historical Society for sponsoring this event, and a hand for Don Fisher, man. He is absolutely brilliant.
Thank you for being with us this afternoon.
Yeah, great. This was written by one of my students. By one of them. It was so good, I wouldn't read it.
Thank you.
It was that beautiful.
Thank you for coming.
Vibes. Nuts. Thank you. Turn it up a little bit.
I jumped up, but you were right there. I didn't see anything else. So we're in for you. Let's go to the front.
It was flawless.
Right.
I read that verse yesterday. It's right in all inside. Everything will work down for
Nice for doing it.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
I got it now, Jared. You don't have to well, I got all the juice. Take care. Thanks for coming. I got all the juice. That's all we I'm a medium rare guy. Burn the box. How are you?
I'll see you over there, okay?
Yes, I want to do that again. COVID knocked all of that out. Let's do it. Let's do it. Take care. What do you think? You need help? No. You don't know yourself. I got Jimmy in it. They could close together. It's really good. I got this guy. How many years? You got stands for something. So what do you think of your stage there?
I'm not used to this kind of performance. I was impressed. And plus, you know, I recognize a lot of his references.
Yes, I knew you would. Yeah. Well, you know, and it's true, you don't get stuff from it. And around town they could.
Well, I just wrote a letter for the Shiloh Baptist Church to be on the National Register, and my point was that, you know, history is really important. Local history is very important. You know?
You know where Charlotte is? Is it the one up on the North Road?
It's all on the North Road by,
West of the county?
just a little bit west of town before you get to Richmond Road.
Yeah.
On the south side there, overlooking,
Who put that chair there?
Okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Good thing a little kid wasn't in that.
He's better.
Sure, how are you?
Well,
Just wanted to come say hi.
My God, David, what happened to your hair?